Okay, today we are working in Unit 1 on Lesson 15 in your math book. Those would be pages 66, 67, and 68. So the purpose of this is our big idea is to multiply with 1 and 0. And so we're going to use what is called our multiplication properties and division rules as strategy in order to multiply and divide with 1 and 0. So let me take you here. And we are going to just kind of go to page 67 here in your workbook. And I want you to take a look here at this little chart that they have given you. Notice there are two sides. The left side talks about addition properties. And so we need to concentrate on the multiplication properties because it is different when you are multiplying with the number 1 and the number 0. So I'm going to backtrack here, and we're going to go ahead and talk about commutative property of multiplication, because remember, in multiplication, which is also the same in addition, it does not matter which number comes first. It's going to be the same answer. So, for example, the order which the numbers are multiplied does not change their product. So 3 times 5 will be the product of exactly the same as 5 times 3. So associative property of multiplication, that is the way in which the numbers are grouped, and it does not change their product. So notice here they have the 3 times the 2 in parentheses, and they're going to take that, you take that, product times 5 is still the same as if you had 3 times, and then in parentheses you're putting the 2 times 5. And remember, when we are dealing with parentheses, we do what's in here first. So in the parentheses first, so 3 times 2 would be 6, and then 6 times 5 would be 30. And it's the same thing, so 3, and we're going to do the parentheses here, 2 times 5 is 10, and then 3 times 10 is 30. So they come up with the same thing. But let's look now at the identity property within multiplication. So remember, identity property is 1. So when you are looking at 1, then you are going to multiply any other number by 1, it's going to stay the same number. So if I have 5 oranges and I'm going to multiply them by 1, it's going to stay 5. Okay, any number times 1 will keep the same number. And it works the same here. So here they have 3 times 1 equals 3. And again, you can use that commutative property and say 1 times 3 equals 3. But let's look here at our 0 property for multiplication. Okay, so sometimes people can get a little confused about this, but it's just very simple. If you are multiplying by 0, it is always going to equal 0. Because if you have 0 group in 0, then you can't multiply by anything. You can have 0 times 5, but that just means 0, 0, 0, 0 5 times, which still is 0. And you can have 5 times 0, but again, if you're multiplying by 0, there's nothing there. All right, so that's basically the properties of identity property for 1 and your 0 property of multiplication. So let's go back here on your first page here. Notice that it again kind of goes over the choices for you here. So you are going to be working on these. So let's look here. Associative property of multiplication. When you group factors in different ways, the product stays the same. The parentheses tells you which numbers to multiply first. Okay, so parentheses always comes first. So this one says in the parentheses first, 3 times 2 times 5. I kind of went over that a little. Okay, so we do the parentheses. So 3 times 2 is 6. Notice how they are pulling that down together. So you got your little lines there pointing down, and you are creating a new little equation underneath. So now it's 6 times, and the number they gave us is 5. So you pull that down, and that's going to equal 30. Again, over here, 3 times, and in the parentheses, it says 2 times 5. And so what do we do first? We do the parentheses first. So 2 times 5 equals 10. So we'll pull our 10 down. and then we'll bring back down that 3 times 10 equals 30. This is what you are going to do on each of these problems here. You're going to do the parentheses first. So that would be 6 times 1, and we remember identity property. Anything multiplied by 1 remains the same number, so 6 times 1 is 6. And then we bring our 2 down times 6, so 2 times 6 would equal, you can use your count bys, so 6 times 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, and that would be 12. All right, so this is what you will be doing for lesson 15. I want you to make sure that you read your directions for today's assignment in the Google Classroom. Do the pages that were assigned and the numbers that were assigned in your workbook. And then I want you to go to your Google form, complete the Google form and submit, and then return back to your assignment so you can click the Turn In button to make sure that your grade is recorded. All right. So if you have any questions, you need to just go ahead and come into my office hours, and I'll see you later.